Hey first time viewers and probably last time viewers because I suck at making videos. Today I will be embellishing a plaid shirt to make it look like a Kapital shirt. And I'll put the picture up. There it is. It's pretty out there, but I like it. So let's get started.
So we start by removing the tags with our seam ripper, and then you remove the strings from where the tag used to be, like so. And then I started working on removing the pocket with my seam ripper, and it just takes a little bit of time. Just be patient with it, because if you rip the wrong seam, you'll rip your shirt. So just be careful with that, and you should be good. Takes a little while, as you can see. And this is time lapse, so it takes even longer. So there's your pocket. Just remove all the strings, and then I cut off the bottom half and lined it up with the quilt, and then lined it up with the piece I cut off, and then I'm just making it the same exact size. I ironed it to make it more flat and in the right shape and all, and then I just cut it out, and then I pinned it up, and then I sewed it right to the original pocket. And my sewing machine messed up right here, so just that's me fixing the machine for a little bit. And then I finished sewing the pocket, and then I ironed the pocket to make it all flat. And then I just buttoned the pocket to the shirt, and then I stapled it, which is a technique that not many people use, probably no one, because I just hate pins. I hate pinning things because I'm not really good with them at the moment. I'll try to reuse them, but anyway, I just sewed the pocket on the shirt. There you go. Now it's a pocket with a quilt on the bottom half. Looks pretty good. Now what I'm doing is cutting off a piece of the quilt and then removing the back half so that it's just a flat piece of fabric without any um, fabric on the back. Then I attach it to my collar, and I cut it to shape a little bit so that it would be more worn looking. Then I just sewed it to my collar on the front and the back of the collar, and it just looks kind of worn. Now what I'm doing is cutting out a piece of the fabric from my quilt to go on the pocket side of my shirt, and then I'm removing all the little siding from the quilt that I bought, just so that it's a lot cleaner looking, because I think the quilt was actually like a pillowcase or something. And so I'm just removing that white fabric to make it really clean, and then I'm removing part of the insides so that I can sew it on there a lot easier, and then I'm stapling it to the shirt and then just sewing it right on there, and then sew the little side and then sew the long side, being careful to go with all the little curves and stuff. And then I just remove all my staples with my staple remover slash seam ripper. And now what I'm doing is just going back and forth with my black thread to simulate stitches. And sorry about that, my camera fell, I didn't know it. So yeah, you can't really see it very well, but I'm just going back and forth and making stitch looking lines along the seam, just so that it looks like, I don't know, like I had a hard time attaching it to the shirt or something. And then I'm using the red thread to go back and forth in my zigzag pattern. The original shirt used red thread to attach it, and I just wanted to see what it looked like, and I didn't really like it, so I switched back to the black, and I just keep going back and forth, zigzagging, until it just looks like a mess, basically. But I think it looks pretty cool when it's done, because it looks just like the picture. And it's just going back and forth with the black to make it look terrible, you know. So it takes a little while. And right here I'm just practicing sewing a little bit because I messed up my zigzag for a second. Sewing machines are very complicated and mine doesn't work very well. I'm gonna get a new one, I think. Sorry for rambling. I just don't even know what to say on this video. It's my first one, like, ever. Thanks to all you for watching. If you're even watching this far, it's probably pretty boring if you don't sew or anything. So now what I'm doing is going with my very small zigzag pattern along the buttonholes to join the fabric around the buttonholes together so that when I cut through with my X-Acto knife, it's just super easy to get the button all the way through the layers of fabric without it getting caught on the many pieces or many layers of my quilt. So I'm just basically making button stitches, but my sewing machine didn't have button stitches, so I had to do that. And now I'm replacing every single button on the shirt with just random buttons from my button collection because it just adds flavor to the shirt. I'm just sprinkling seasoning buttons. That's so cringy. I don't know why I said that. This was actually probably the most time consuming part of the project, and I'm pretty fast with sewing on buttons. So it might take you 45 minutes to do this. It probably took me about that long. And just keep doing that. And I replaced every single button, including the collar button. Sorry about that, my microphone fell. Including the collar buttons and the arm wrist buttons. And there was 3 of those. Yep. It did take a very long time though. But it turned out pretty cool. I'm not really sure what to say at this part because I don't really have anything to address with the video exactly. This is really boring, I bet, for y'all. Alright, so now what I'm doing is I'm cutting out a patch for the front of the shirt, and I'm using some strips that I have that I got from Walmart. It makes you able to iron on patches, so you just cut it out and put it on the edges of your patch, and then you just peel off the backing and you put it on wherever you want it, and then you just iron it on for like 6 seconds. And now what I'm doing is taking my seam ripper and making the fabric as large as possible, just opening it up, and then I cut it to the right shape to fit on my shirt, and then I fine tune the little edges so that it's perfectly straight, and now I just sew it right to the shirt, right on the seam. And I use a stapler to attach it because, again, I hate pens. I'll probably learn to use them better. I don't know why I don't use them very well yet. I've been sewing since I was 8, maybe 6. I don't know. It's been a long time. This is probably the most boring video y'all have ever watched, if you're even watching it this far in. So what I'm doing here is I'm just making another patch for the back of the shirt using the same strips. And once you're done with that, then all you gotta do is just iron it on again. Pretty self-explanatory, not too difficult. And now what I'm doing is just adding little touches here and there to make the shirt look more worn. I'm just going back and forth in some places, and then in others I'm making just thread squares everywhere. just to make it look worn and old and stuff.
So here we are with our finished embellished flannel shirt. I think it turned out phenomenally. It looks almost exactly like the picture that I started with, and I think it's gonna be one of my new favorite shirts. My mom hates it, but I don't care. I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you for watching and have a blessed day. If you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I would love the support. And I should be coming out with a video in about another week, so you have that to look forward to.